Hi, I'm Christopher Gow, and I go to St. John's, and I'll be going to Amherst College in the fall. I was incredibly fortunate to be raised in a Christian home by wonderful Christian parents who taught me at an early age that Jesus loved me and died for my sins. They set a great foundation for my faith. But my faith really began to grow at Kanakuk Camp. I started attending this camp at age 7 and went for 10 years. I loved camp. Every year I was taught about God's amazing sacrificial love for me and his passionate longing to know me intimately. Very notably, it was at camp that I met a counselor named Pete. I'll never forget Pete saying to a group of parents, "Parents, this may be hard for you to accept, but the most influential person in teaching your children the gospel will be someone other than you." In my case, he was certainly right. Pete discipled me and taught me all throughout my middle school years and was instrumental in the growth of my faith. He was a passionate speaker and inspiring Christian leader who seemed to have all the answers and made Christianity and the pursuit of God and his promises an exciting adventure that had never been before. My faith hit new heights when Pete took me to China. We went on a mission trip to share the gospel with people who may have never heard it otherwise. I was part of a group that was doing secret mission work in schools and telling people about Jesus by passing notes across dinner tables. It was all very exciting. During the trip, God showed me that his love and sacrifice was so much more than simply great news. As I told people all that I had come to know about God and his Son, God showed me his gospel in a brand new light. It wasn't just a story that my parents had taught me. There was a striking sense of urgency. It was the first time that I realized just how important the gospel is, and I wanted to tell people about it. However, shortly after the trip, my newfound passion was shot. We received news that Pete was arrested for sexual abuse of children. Pete was tried with over 40 accounts of abuse, and he was ultimately sentenced to a life in prison. I thank God that I was not one of the victims, but Pete's demise did affect me. Not only was I no longer allowed to communicate with him, but I was also very confused. How could someone who seemed so good do something so bad? Did Pete mean anything he had taught me? I still felt like Jesus' love for me was real, but I didn't know how to deal with Pete's apparent betrayal of all the good things he had taught me. During this time of confusion, I stopped my pursuit of God. I was satisfied with my friends and sports and school, and I became uninterested in God's plan for me. I entered a period of dormant faith and became less focused on the things of God. But God never gave up on me. Looking back on my early years in high school, I can see that God was constantly chasing me. Fortunately, my parents and I had very open discussions about the whole ordeal, and they were quick to reassure me and show me that God had a plan for me and that all that I had learned and done in China was real. And God threw me into Christian community. My junior year, he surrounded me with mentors, new teachers, and new disciples who were serious about pursuing him and his promises. My brother brought me to First Pres, where I met people like Tim Cornelson and Anthony Cedar, who showed me, again, what it meant to live for Christ. I was blessed to go on a ski trip and become part of the accountability groups. And around this time, many of my friends from St. John's, including Jack Craddock, started to want to study the Word together. By the grace of God, the pain and confusion that Pete left behind have largely been wiped away, and I enjoy being part of and sharing God's love in Christian community again. As I reflect on all of these experiences, I feel mostly 4 things. Firstly, there is a sense of urgency to share the gospel. Secondly, sin is destructive and has terrible consequences. But third, Christian community has restorative power. And finally, though this world will hurt us, God will pursue us, and his love is relentless. Thanks.